I like it because I know one thing for certain is that if you do get married, you must commit yourself to that.
What if the voice that launched a musical revolution hit a heartbreak that lasted 50 years? What if Britain's first rock star, adored by millions, faced a betrayal so public it nearly broke him? Cliff Richard didn't just sing his way into history. He battled a love that slipped away, a scandal that tore his life apart, and an industry that tried to erase him. Yet at 84, he's still standing, defying every odd. This is the story of a man who turned pain into timeless music, a legend whose secrets keep us guessing. Let's unravel the enigma of Cliff Richard, where every note tells a deeper truth. Born Harry Roger Webb on October 14, 1940, in Lucknow, British India, Cliff entered a world in chaos. World War II roared, and India's fight for independence was tearing the colony apart. His father, Roger, ran catering for the British colonial system, living comfortably with servants in sunny evenings. Cliff grew up hearing Indian melodies mixed with American rock on his father's gramophone. Elvis, Little Richard, sounds that lit a spark in him. But by 1946, riots during Direct Action Day sent fear through British families. In 1948, the Webbs fled, boarding the SS Ranchi for a 3-week journey across the Indian Ocean. Hundreds of families crammed together, left behind the only home they'd known. Landing in England was a shock. Carshalton, Surrey, offered no warmth, just a small house, gray skies, and post-war rationing. For 8-year-old Harry, the loss was stark. Gone were the big rooms and easy days. That struggle planted a seed, a fierce drive to rise above, to make something bigger than the cold, cramped life he'd landed in. And that drive would soon set Britain ablaze. By 1958, Harry Webb was gone. Manager Harry Greatorex saw the future of rock and gave him a new name, Cliff Richard. Cliff, like a solid British cliff face, he said, with Richard nodding to Little Richard's wild energy. Then came Move It, a raw, rebellious single that hit number 2 on the UK charts. At 18, Cliff didn't just sing, he sparked a revolution. Teenagers lost it, screaming, crying, fainting in the streets. Security guards couldn't hold back the crowds in London, Manchester, Leeds. They called it Cliff hysteria, a frenzy rivaling Elvis but burning on British soil. John Lennon said it plainly. Before Move It, there was nothing worth hearing in England. Paul McCartney admitted the Beatles fled to Hamburg because Cliff had the UK charts locked down. Backed by the Shadows, whose guitar riffs gave the song its edge, Cliff wasn't copying America. He was creating Britain's rock sound, paving the way for the Beatles, the Stones, and beyond. But the mania was just the beginning. Cliff wasn't content with music alone. In 1959, he leapt into film with Serious Charge, a gritty drama tackling homosexuality and false accusations, bold for a 19-year-old pop star. Critics were stunned, fans were hooked. Then came Summer Holiday in 1963, a feel-good musical that flooded Leicester Square with 3,000 fans, so chaotic Cliff couldn't attend his own premiere. The soundtrack hit number 1 before the film reached theaters, holding the top spot for 14 weeks. Songs like The Next Time and Bachelor Boy ruled the charts, and the movie outdid most British films that year, second only to From Russia with Love. In 1963, fans voted Cliff the UK's most popular film star, a title no pop singer had claimed before. He wasn't just a voice, he was a cultural force, blending music, film, and raw charisma. Even as Beatlemania swept the world in 1964, Cliff refused to fade. He dropped 6 top 10 hits, one more than the Beatles' 5. Songs like Constantly and I Could Easily Fall in Love with You kept him shining. In 1965, New Musical Express ran a global poll, and fans crowned him the world's top male singer, beating Elvis Presley and John Lennon. While Help and Rubber Soul redefined music, Cliff held his ground with pop ballads, faith-friendly films, and charm. His film Summer Holiday went head-to-head with the Beatles' A Hard Day's Night at the box office, and both broke records. British audiences never forgot their first rock hero, the one who'd started it all. But in 1966, Cliff did something no one expected. At Earl's Court, he stepped onto a stage, not to sing, but to stand with evangelist Billy Graham and declare his Christian faith to thousands. The swinging 60s were about rebellion, drugs, free love, breaking rules, yet here was Britain's rock icon talking about God. Fans were floored, some wept, others walked away. Magazines buzzed with panic, whispering he'd quit to become a teacher. Even Cliff wondered if he could stay in the spotlight. The industry said you couldn't be spiritual and a star, but he didn't run. He blended faith and music, becoming the first UK pop star to live his beliefs openly while topping charts. That choice didn't just save his career, it redefined him, proving you could fill concert halls and still hold true to your soul. Behind the fame, a quiet pain was growing. In 1971, on his TV show It's Cliff Richard, a young Australian singer, Olivia Newton-John, stepped into his life. She was 22, radiant, and their chemistry was electric. Cliff later wrote in his 2020 autobiography, A Head Full of Music, that he fell for her, hard. But there was a catch. Olivia was engaged to Bruce Welch, his bandmate from The Shadows. The love triangle was messy. Bruce's marriage had crumbled, and his engagement to Olivia made headlines. They stayed together for 5 years but never married. Some whispered Olivia had feelings for Cliff, though no one confirmed it. When she left Bruce in 1973, he spiraled, battling depression and even self-harm. Cliff stayed silent, but the rumors grew. Had she been the one who got away? Their friendship lasted over 40 years, marked by duets like Suddenly from Xanadu in 1980 and a final performance at his 75th birthday concert in 2015. When Olivia passed in August 2022 after a 30-year battle with breast cancer, Cliff was crushed. He'd called her weeks before, her voice warm as ever. "Good day, Cliff. How are you, darling?" she said, hiding her pain. Cliff couldn't bear the word death. He wrote, "She simply stopped living." That loss left a void he's never fully shared, a wound echoing in his music. But nothing hit harder than what came in 2014. Cliff was relaxing at his Portugal villa when he turned on the TV and froze. Helicopters circled his Berkshire home. Police rummaged through his belongings, live on the BBC. It wasn't a robbery, it was a raid, staged for drama. The BBC had a secret deal with South Yorkshire police, calling it their money shot. A man in his 40s claimed Cliff assaulted him at a 1985 Billy Graham rally in Sheffield. The accusation was flimsy, describing a room with sports equipment that didn't exist. Officers who guarded Cliff that night, by his side the whole time, weren't even interviewed, yet the police chased it for 22 months. Cliff, then 77, broke down in his kitchen, sobbing, fearing a heart attack. The stress gave him shingles, stole his sleep, and made his home feel like a prison. His name was dragged from the UK to Australia, his life laid bare. The case collapsed. No evidence, no charges, but the damage was done. Cliff sued the BBC and won, exposing their reckless deal. Still, he admitted his home felt contaminated. Fans rallied, but the scars lingered, and the whispers didn't stop. For decades, tabloids and online forums have buzzed about Cliff's private life. Why no marriage? No children? Some point to his faith, others to close friendships with figures like tennis player Sue Barker or Olivia Newton-John, hinting at questions about his sexuality. It's been said he chose career and faith over love, a fan wrote on X in 2024, sparking debates. Others claim his bachelorhood reflects a private sacrifice, perhaps tied to his unspoken love for Olivia. These are rumors, unverified, but they keep the internet alive. Cliff's addressed them vaguely, telling The Guardian in 2023, "I've lived my life my way." He's kept his personal world locked tight, fueling endless fascination. Through it all, Cliff never quit. He's the only singer with #1 hits in 5 straight decades, from Living Doll in 1959 to Savior's Day in 1990. His 1976 hit Devil Woman stormed the US charts at #6, earning nods from Jimmy Page and Elton John. In 1988, Mistletoe and Wine became the UK's biggest single, selling 750,000 copies in 6 weeks, still earning royalties today. In 1989, his Wembley concert, The Event, was a spectacle. Half 50s nostalgia, half modern hits, filmed for a live album and TV special. He invited 2,000 fans to the London Palladium to vote on his 100th single, The Best of Me, which hit #2. But the 90s brought new battles. In 1999, BBC Radio 2 banned Millennium Prayer, calling it lacking broad appeal. They'd stopped playing older acts like the Beatles, and DJs needed special permission for Cliff. Fans were furious, protesting outside the BBC. Without radio or major label support, they pushed Millennium Prayer to #1 for 3 weeks, from November 28th to December 19th, 1999. It raised funds for Children's Promise, proving Cliff could beat the system. In Australia and New Zealand, it hit #2, and 3 European countries gave it platinum status. It wasn't just a hit, it was a rebellion against ageism. Cliff's synergy with The Shadows was key to his early success. Their 1960 instrumental Apache topped the charts, shaping British rock sound. Their guitar-driven energy gave Move It its bite, and their 1989 reunion at Wembley brought fans back to the 50s. Cliff called them the heartbeat of my music in his 2024 memoir. Together, they created a sound that was raw yet polished, setting Cliff apart from solo acts. Their 1990 Nebworth performance, alongside Paul McCartney and Pink Floyd, showed they could still hold their own. Cliff's global reach grew through Eurovision. In 1968, Congratulations came second, a near win that became a European anthem. In 1973, Power to All Our Friends took third, cementing his fame across the continent. Both songs hit #1 in multiple countries, showing Cliff's ability to adapt to new audiences while staying true to his roots. His TV show, It's Cliff Richard, from 1970 to 1974 was another game changer. It showcased his charm, introducing talents like Olivia Newton-John, and keeping him relevant as music shifted. The show blended music, comedy, and guests, drawing millions weekly. It painted Cliff as a family-friendly star, a contrast to the era's wild rockers, yet still magnetic. His charity work added another layer. From Nordhoff Robbins to Children's Promise, Cliff's faith drove his giving. Millennium Prayer raised serious funds, and his 1990 Nebworth set supported music therapy. Fans on X in 2024 called him a man who lives what he believes, a rare consistency in a fickle industry. At 84, Cliff refuses to fade. In 2023, he released Cliff with Strings, a reflective album featuring his final duet with Olivia Newton-John. In 2024, he toured with a live orchestra, selling out venues across the UK. His memoir, A Head Full of Music, hit shelves, offering candid takes on fame, faith, and loss. X posts from 2024 praise his energy, with one fan writing, "Cliff's outlasting everyone, 84 and still rocking." Others noted the industry's push to sideline him, yet he keeps proving them wrong. Cliff's story is one of resilience. From a boy in a falling empire to a pioneer who outshone the Beatles, from a man who bared his faith to one who hid his heartbreak, he's never stopped. He survived a love that slipped away, a raid that tore his life open, and whispers that never fade. What drives someone to keep shining when the world tries to dim their light? Is it faith, stubbornness, or a secret we'll never know? Cliff Richard remains an enigma, a legend who's given us 66 years of music but kept his heart just out of reach. Share your thoughts below. What keeps Cliff going after all this time?